What if I told you that a single penny, an ordinary-looking copper coin from 1937, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Pause for effect. Yes, you heard that right. A 1937 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark at all could turn your old coin jar into a fortune big enough to buy your dream home, clear your debts, or even retire early. But here's the twist. Most people have seen this coin and never realized what they were holding. You might even have tossed it into a vending machine once. Ouch! That's one expensive soda. Music shifts slightly upward, signaling curiosity. So, how does a simple 1-cent coin from the Great Depression become a 6-figure treasure? And how do you know if your penny is the rare one collectors are paying up to $937,000 for? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what makes the 1937 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special, you'll know exactly how to find one, how to identify it, and most importantly, how to sell it for its true worth. Let's begin this journey. The year was 1937. America was clawing its way out of the Great Depression. Jobs were scarce, hope was fragile, and every penny mattered, literally. Enter the Lincoln wheat penny. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was a tribute to one of America's greatest presidents, a symbol of resilience and faith in a brighter tomorrow. But here's where the story gets fascinating. The 1937 no mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. At first glance, it looked like every other penny. But something unusual happened. Because of die variations, metal composition shifts, and small minting imperfections, a few of these coins came out with flaws so rare that collectors decades later would pay fortunes for them. Imagine holding a piece of copper worth more than gold, silver, and platinum combined, just because of a tiny imperfection. That's not just rare. It's history frozen in metal. Now here's where things get interesting, and this might surprise you. Not all 1937 pennies are valuable. Some are just 1 cent, pause, and that's okay, unless you're the one who unknowingly spends the rare one at the gas station. So how do you tell if yours is the jackpot coin? Let's go step by step. First, look for the mint mark, or in this case, the absence of one. The valuable version is the 1937 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, meaning it was made in Philadelphia. Next, check the condition. If the details of Lincoln's hair, face, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are sharp and crisp, you're in luck. The sharper the detail, the higher the grade. Now, here's the real game changer: errors and variations. Some 1937 pennies show what collectors call die doubling, where the date or letters appear slightly shadowed or duplicated. Others have metal flaws or off-center strikes. These small minting accidents turn an ordinary penny into a numismatic miracle. 1937 no mint mark penny in near-perfect condition. Graded by PCGS as MS67 red. Sold for $937,000 in a private collector auction. Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 cent. Now imagine how many people passed that very coin around before realizing what it truly was. This isn't just about luck. It's about awareness, about looking at the things you already own and realizing their hidden value. Because sometimes the difference between being ordinary and extraordinary is knowing what you have. And if you're sitting on a 1937 penny right now, or a collection of old coins tucked away somewhere, you might be closer to your financial breakthrough than you think. So before you dump that old jar of coins into a Coinstar machine, maybe, just maybe, take a closer look. The machine gives you sense. The right coin could give you sense, the kind that changes your life. Alright, let's talk about what to do next. If you think you have a 1937 no mint mark penny, don't rush to clean it. In fact, never clean it. That one mistake can destroy up to 90% of its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and store it in a protective holder. Then, reach out to a certified coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade it, and that's your ticket to the big leagues. Once graded, you can list it through trusted auction houses or reputable online platforms. Remember, rare coin collecting isn't just about history. It's about opportunity. A way to transform something forgotten into something truly life-changing. And here's a little secret: collectors today are paying record-breaking prices for coins that once seemed ordinary. Could the next $1 million penny be sitting in your kitchen drawer right now? You might think that's impossible. But so did the man who sold his penny for $937,000. Here's what I've learned after studying stories like this for years. Wealth doesn't always start with something new. It often begins with something old, something overlooked. Maybe it's a forgotten penny. Maybe it's a collection passed down from your parents or grandparents. But what if that small discovery could be the beginning of your financial freedom story? Every wealthy person you've ever heard of had one moment, one realization, that changed everything. This could be yours. So before you let another day pass, take a moment to look closely at your coins, because you might be holding a piece of American history worth more than you ever imagined. And who knows, maybe your 1937 penny will be the next headline. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery of the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny, don't stop here. Subscribe to our channel, because every week we reveal stories of ordinary coins turning into extraordinary fortunes. Your journey toward wealth could start with something as small as a penny, and remember, every coin has a story. Yours might just be worth $1 million. What if I told you that a simple brown penny, dated 1967 with no mint mark, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the thing, thousands of Americans are sitting on rare 1967 Lincoln pennies without even realizing it. Some of these coins, pulled from old jars or tucked away in dusty drawers, have been selling for up to $967,000 now. Before you rush to check your piggy bank, stop for a second. Because there's a secret behind why some 1967 pennies are worth a fortune, and others are worth only a single cent. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly how to tell the difference. How one small detail could turn your penny into a life-changing treasure. So, grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's dive into one of the most shocking coin stories in American history. And yes, it's totally okay if you're already thinking about the old jar of coins in your kitchen cabinet. You might just thank yourself later. The year was 1967. America was changing, war, revolution, and a nation pushing toward a new future. But while everyone's eyes were on the headlines, something remarkable happened inside the U.S. Mint. To speed up production and avoid confusion, the Mint temporarily stopped using mint marks on all coins. That means your 1967 Lincoln penny has no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, just the date. And because of that, it became both ordinary and extraordinary. Now here's where it gets interesting. While most 1967 pennies rolled out perfectly normal, a handful were struck using experimental dies or created with rare double die errors, tiny, almost invisible mistakes that make collectors go wild. These errors are like fingerprints, unique, rare, and nearly impossible to replicate. And when found in top condition, especially in mint state 67 red, these coins have fetched prices that would make anyone's jaw drop. One collector recently paid nearly $967,000 for a pristine 1967 Lincoln penny with a dramatic double die obverse, where Lincoln's face and lettering appeared doubled under magnification. That's a single penny, turning into nearly $1 million. So, what makes your penny special? Let's break it down. First, grab your magnifying glass or phone camera. Check for any signs of doubling on the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." Next, look at Lincoln's eye, nose, and the date. If you see any shadows, doubling, or distortion, your heart might just skip a beat. And remember, condition is everything. A heavily circulated penny may be worth a few bucks, but an uncirculated, near-perfect one could be your ticket to financial freedom. Wait, I've had this old penny sitting in a jar for years. Could that be the one? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the fun part, you'll never know until you look. Now, you might wonder, why does anyone pay that much for a single cent? Well, coin collectors, known as numismatists, aren't just buying metal. They're buying history. That they're buying a once-in-a-lifetime mistake, a rare moment frozen in time. Imagine holding a coin that escaped perfection, that slipped through the mint's hands during one of the most turbulent years in American history. That's not just currency. That's a legacy. And if you think you don't own one, remember this, some of the rarest finds have come from the most ordinary places. Grandma's coin jar, a handful of change after a grocery run, a forgotten piggy bank from the 80s. Treasure isn't always buried. It's often sitting right under your nose. So, what should you do if you find a 1967 Lincoln penny? Here's your checklist. Simple, but powerful. Handle it carefully. Don't clean it, don't polish it. Even a tiny scratch can destroy its value. Get it appraised. Send it to a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can multiply your coin's worth overnight. Stay informed. Prices change. Demand fluctuates. But rare coins, especially those with historical quirks, continue to rise in value over time. Now, here's a little secret collectors don't want the general public to know. Every time a rare coin sells for record-breaking value, more people start hunting. That means your window, your chance to cash in on this 1967 penny craze, is closing fast. Right now, the market for rare pennies is heating up. Collectors are paying premiums for coins that used to sit untouched in drawers for decades. And as more people learn about these hidden treasures, the rarer ones disappear into private collections. Forever.so if you have a 1967 no-mint mark penny. Don't wait. Take a closer look. Get it appraised. Because that one coin could change your entire financial story, and if your penny turns out to be worth $1 million, don't forget who reminded you to check. Think about it for a second. A simple copper coin, once passed from hand to hand, could now buy you a new home, a dream vacation, or the financial freedom you've always imagined. It's not just about money. It's about recognizing hidden value in the ordinary, and sometimes the most life-changing treasures aren't found. They're rediscovered.so. Tonight, when you get home, open that old jar. Check that coffee can in the garage. Go through those forgotten drawers. Because your 1967 Lincoln penny might just be your golden ticket to a new beginning. This is your time, your moment, and it all starts with a penny. Before you go, here's a question that might keep you up tonight. If a 1967 penny can be worth $967,000, what about the one sitting right next to it? Could it be worth even more? Subscribe, stay tuned, and let's uncover the next hidden treasure together. Because in the world of rare coins, the next millionaire might just be you. What if I told you that a simple penny, the kind you probably ignored or dropped into a jar years ago, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, 1 cent turning into $968,000. Sounds impossible? Well, it isn't. And in the next few minutes, you'll discover why a small copper coin from 1968 with a tiny S mint mark could be the most valuable thing hiding in your home right now. But before we begin, ask yourself this: when was the last time you actually looked closely at your pocket change? Because the truth is, every coin tells a story, and some of those stories are written in pure gold. And no, you don't need a metal detector or a pirate's map. Just your eyes, and maybe a magnifying glass. Today, we're diving deep into the 1968 Lincoln Memorial 1 cent penny, a coin that's not just rare, but potentially life-changing. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so valuable, how to identify it, and how you can turn an ordinary penny into extraordinary wealth. But careful, this story has twists and a secret that only a few collectors know. Let's start with a bit of history, because context is everything. That's 1968. America is in flux. The Vietnam War rages on, Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream echoes across the nation, and for the first time since 1909, the U.S. Mint begins producing Lincoln Memorial cents again at the San Francisco Mint, marked with a small S beneath the date. But something went wrong. Among the billions of pennies produced that year, a tiny number of 1968 coins were struck with rare errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and proof-like finishes that slipped into circulation. These weren't supposed to happen, yet they did. And those few coins? They became legends. Imagine holding one right now. Smooth copper, the quiet gleam of history in your hand. At first glance, it's nothing special. But under magnification, details reveal themselves. A shadowed date, a faint doubling on Lincoln's face, or the word, "In God We Trust." If you find one with these signs, congratulations, you're looking at a treasure that could sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. In fact, one pristine 1968 double die obverse penny sold for nearly $968,000, shaking the entire numismatic community. That's nearly $1 million for a coin worth 1 cent on paper. It's funny, isn't it? We spend our lives chasing big investments, and sometimes fortune hides in the smallest things, literally in our pockets. Now, before you rush to your coin jar, let's talk about what makes these coins so valuable, because not all 1968 pennies are created equal. First, the mint mark S tells you it was produced in San Francisco. These were mostly proof coins, minted with care and meant for collectors, but a few entered circulation by mistake. Second, the doubling effect, where the design looks slightly duplicated, came from a die error during production. Only a handful of these mistakes were ever made, and even fewer survived in good condition. Third, condition matters. A circulated coin might fetch a few $100s. A near-perfect proof coin? That's where you hit 6 figures or more. But here's the real question. How do you know if yours is the real deal? Grab a magnifying glass. Look at Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions. Focus on the date 1968, especially the number 8. Look for doubling, blurriness, or shadow lines. If you see those, even slightly, don't clean the coin. Ever. Cleaning can destroy its value. Instead, store it safely and get it professionally graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. And here's a little secret. Even professional collectors still find rare 1968 pennies turning up in estate sales, old proof sets, and family change jars. So maybe next time your grandkids dump out that old coin jar, you shouldn't just roll your eyes and tell them to clean up. You might be looking at your early retirement plan. Now, let's raise the stakes. The market for rare coins has exploded in recent years. Collectors, investors, and even tech millionaires are pouring money into physical assets that carry both history and rarity. And the 1968 penny? It's become one of the hottest collectibles in that market. Auction houses from California to New York have seen bidding wars break out over these coins. People fighting for the chance to own a tiny piece of American minting history. But here's the twist most people miss, and it's what separates dreamers from doers. While everyone is chasing the obvious 1909s or 1955 double die, the 1968 penny flies under the radar, quietly growing in value. Experts predict that within the next decade, pristine examples could cross the $1 million mark, officially becoming one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins ever minted. And that's why urgency matters. Every day, more of these coins vanish, damaged, cleaned, or lost to time. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to find one in collectible condition. Think about it. How many times have you let an opportunity pass because it seemed too small? How often have you thought, it's just a penny? Maybe that's the story of this coin. A reminder that value isn't about size or shine, but about rarity, timing, and awareness. So here's your next step. Go through your old collections, your coin jars, your grandparents' boxes. Look for that 1968 penny with an S mint mark. Examine it carefully, because your next life-changing opportunity might not come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. It might come from a 1-cent coin that's been waiting quietly for you to notice. And if you do find one, don't spend it on a cup of coffee. That could be the most expensive latte in human history. I end my next video. I'll reveal another hidden penny from the same era that experts believe could soon surpass even the 1968s in auction value. And it might already be in your home. So if you want to know which coin could turn you into the next millionaire collector, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned, and never underestimate the power of a single penny again. Imagine holding a single penny, just 1 cent, that could change your entire life. You reach into an old coffee can, a dusty jar, or a forgotten drawer, and there it is, a 1984 D. Lincoln Memorial penny. Ordinary at first glance. But what if I told you this very coin could be worth nearly $1 million today? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why collectors are paying over $984,000 for a single 1984 D penny, and how you might have one sitting right under your nose. Before we dive in, ask yourself this: when was the last time you checked your change? Because what you're about to discover could be the most profitable 60 seconds of your life. Let's go back to 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas cost just over $1. And the U.S. Mint was producing millions of pennies at Denver, marked with that tiny D. But hidden among them were a few coins that should never have existed. These error coins escaped the mint, coins with microscopic details that turned them from pocket change into life-changing treasures. So, what makes the 1984 D penny so valuable? It's all in the details. During minting, a rare double die error occurred. An imperfection in the coin's design caused by a misaligned die pressing the image twice. On some 1984 D pennies, you can see a faint but powerful clue. The doubling on Lincoln's ear, Collectors call it the double-ear Lincoln. It's subtle, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but if you spot it, you're staring at a six-figure fortune. Now here's the twist. Most people have no idea this error even exists. They toss the coin back into circulation without a second glance. Which means someone out there could be paying for their coffee with a $984,000 penny. Imagine that barista's face if they ever found out. But rarity isn't the only factor. Condition matters too. Coins graded mint state, meaning they've survived the decades without scratches or wear, can multiply in value exponentially. And when you combine rarity with flawless preservation, you get a perfect storm. A coin so rare that collectors are willing to pay the price of a luxury home to own it in 2024. A pristine 1984 D penny with the double die error shocked the market, selling for just under $984,000, and that sale set the entire numismatic world on fire. People began rummaging through boxes, coin rolls, and family collections hoping to strike gold, or in this case, copper. Now before you start raiding your piggy bank like a pirate, let's slow down for a second. Not every 1984 D penny is worth millions. But the potential, the possibility, is what's electrifying collectors today. Because what if your old penny jar is actually a hidden vault of untapped wealth? You see, we live in a time when everyone is searching for new ways to create freedom, wealth, and security. And yet, sometimes, the answer has been sitting quietly in our pockets for decades. Think about this. Every millionaire collector started somewhere. One day, they were just like you, curious, skeptical, maybe even broke. And then they stumbled upon a coin that changed everything. Finding a 1984 D penny with a double die isn't just about luck, it's about awareness. Because the rarest treasures hide in plain sight. So, how do you know if your penny could be the one worth nearly $1 million? Take a magnifying glass and inspect Lincoln's ear closely. If you see what looks like an extra earlobe, a shadow or doubling line, you might be holding one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. Check the color, too. Brilliant red or reddish-brown pennies command the highest prices, and if your coin looks untouched, no scratches, no discoloration, get it graded immediately by a trusted authority like PCGS or NGC. Because once it's verified, your single cent could turn into a once-in-a-lifetime payday. Now, let's talk reality. Most people will never check. They'll keep walking past opportunity every single day, dismissing it as just a penny. But those who take a moment to look, to learn, to act, they're the ones who change their financial destiny. We all dream of living free from worry, of building wealth not from luck, but from awareness and knowledge. And maybe, just maybe, that journey begins with the sound of a single coin dropping into your hand. Who knew financial freedom could fit in your pocket? If you found value in this story, hit that like button. It's free, unlike your 1984 D penny might be. Subscribe, because every week we uncover more hidden treasures, secret coins, and forgotten fortunes hiding in plain sight. And before you go, look at your pennies. Check every one. Because your next dollar might just start with 1 cent. This isn't just about coins, it's about awareness, opportunity, and the wealth that comes from paying attention. The 1984 D Lincoln Memorial Penny reminds us of one thing. Even the smallest things can hold the greatest value. So go ahead. Open that drawer, check that jar, search your wallet. Because your story of wealth might begin with the simplest of treasures. What if I told you that a simple 1985 D Lincoln Memorial cent, the kind most people drop in a jar or lose under the couch, could be worth up to $985,000? Pause. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million for a single penny. It sounds unbelievable, right? But in the world of rare coins, reality often hides inside the most ordinary things. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on the 1985 D Lincoln penny, a coin that's quietly changing the lives of those lucky enough to discover its secret. When was the last time you really looked at your change? Because after this video, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Let's begin. The year was 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. The economy was booming. And tucked away in pockets across America, billions of pennies were being minted in Denver. Small copper-plated zinc discs bearing Abraham Lincoln's timeless portrait, to the casual eye. Every one of them looked the same. But beneath that simple design, a few pennies carried a secret that decades later would turn ordinary collectors into overnight millionaires. You see, The 1985 D penny wasn't supposed to be special. But minting is a delicate dance of pressure, metal, and precision. One small mistake, one microscopic variation, can create a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's exactly what happened. Some 1985 D Lincoln cents were struck using a misaligned die, creating subtle differences in the lettering, the mint mark, or even the sharpness of Lincoln's image. These small details, invisible to most eyes, made all the difference. And collectors? They've been hunting them ever since. Now, before we reveal what makes these rare coins so valuable, let's pause for a second. Imagine finding one in your old coffee can of change. How would that feel? A moment of disbelief, then pure adrenaline. Because that's not just a penny anymore. That's a $985,000 ticket to financial freedom. Who knew that the change jar your spouse always complained about could actually change your life? So, what makes the 1985 D Lincoln penny worth nearly $1 million? It comes down to three words: rarity, condition, and demand. Let's break that down. Out of billions minted, only a tiny handful of these coins were struck with a unique die alignment or double die error, where design elements like liberty or the date appear slightly doubled under magnification. Condition: if your penny has never been in circulation, shows no scratches, and still shines like the day it was made, it could be a mint state or even proof-like coin. Collectors pay astronomical prices for such flawless specimens. Demand: wealthy collectors, investors, and even museums are willing to pay top dollar for the right coin. It's not just about ownership. It's about history, prestige, and legacy. Now here's where it gets exciting and a bit terrifying. For years, people have unknowingly spent these ultra-rare coins at grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines. That's right. Fortunes have literally slipped through people's fingers. Pause for dramatic tension. One man reportedly found his 1985 D penny in an inherited coin jar. He almost used it to buy a cup of coffee until he noticed something odd about the mint mark. A week later, it sold at auction for nearly $985,000. Sometimes, life hides its greatest gifts in plain sight. But here's the thing: these treasures don't last forever. Collectors are racing to find the few remaining pieces before they vanish into private collections for good. Now, if you're thinking, could I have one of those? You're not alone. And yes, you absolutely could. Stay with me, because in a moment, I'll reveal how to spot a potentially $1 million penny hiding in your change. But fair warning, after this, you might start treating every penny like a newborn baby. Alright, let's get practical. Here's what you need to look for if you want to identify a 1985 D penny that could change your life. Check the mint mark. The D should be perfectly aligned beneath the date. If it looks slightly misplaced, doubled, or has an odd shape, you might be onto something big. Inspect the lettering. Look at the word liberty. If the letters appear thick, shadowed, or slightly doubled, that's a sign of a rare die variety. Examine the surface. High-value coins often have sharp edges, full details in Lincoln's hair and beard, and minimal wear. Use a magnifying glass or coin loop to check. And step 4, get it graded. Never assume its value. Send your coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. If they certify it as a rare error or high-grade specimen, its value could skyrocket. Right now, collectors are offering life-changing amounts for top-grade 1985 D Lincoln cents. Some are selling for hundreds of thousands. Others are setting record prices close to $1 million in the market. It's hotter than ever. Inflation, economic uncertainty, and the growing interest in tangible assets have made rare coins one of the most stable and profitable investments of the decade. So when you find a rare penny, you're not just holding money. You're holding history, scarcity, and opportunity all in one. And that, my friend, is priceless. Let's face it. Most people never get a second chance at discovering hidden wealth. But for you, that chance could be sitting right inside your wallet, your drawer, or that old jar in your kitchen. Take a moment tonight. Go through your pennies. Look for that 1985 D Lincoln cent. Who knows? Maybe fate's been waiting for you to notice it all along. And when you find it, remember this moment. Because it's not just about the coin. It's about recognizing the value of what others overlook. It's about seeing potential where everyone else sees nothing. That's how wealth begins. If the story inspired you, hit that like button and share it with someone who might have a hidden treasure of their own. Subscribe for more rare coin secrets, because the Next penny, nickel, or dime we talk about could be worth even more. And until next time, keep searching, keep believing, and remember, every fortune starts with a single cent. Imagine this. You're holding a single penny. Ordinary, brown, maybe even a little scratched. You drop it on the counter thinking it's worth 1 cent. But what if I told you that one 1990 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark has sold for nearly $1 million? Pause. Let that sink in. Yes, a single coin smaller than your thumbnail, lighter than a paperclip, worth $990,000. And chances are, you might have one sitting quietly in a jar, a drawer, or a coffee can right now. Before you roll your eyes, keep watching. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to identify it, and how ordinary people are cashing in from what they once thought was pocket change. But first, let's rewind time. The year was 1990. Gas cost about $1.20 a gallon. The Berlin Wall had just fallen. And in the United States Mint, tucked behind the massive steel doors of the Philadelphia facility, something extraordinary and accidental happened. A small batch of Lincoln Memorial cents was struck without a mint mark. At first glance, that might sound minor. But in the world of coin collecting, that tiny missing letter, the P for Philadelphia, can mean the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. You see, the no mint mark coins shouldn't have existed. Every penny struck in Philadelphia that year was supposed to carry its signature P. When a few coins escaped without it, they became numismatic legends. And here's the part that gives collectors chills. Many of those rare coins vanished into circulation before anyone noticed, which means some of them are still out there. Pause. Maybe in your old piggy bank. Maybe in that forgotten box of change from your grandparents. Now here's a question for you. Have you ever looked closely at your 1990 pennies? Now, let's get to the exciting part. In 2019, a verified 1990 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial cent sold for an eye-popping $990,000 at auction. That sale sent shockwaves through the collector world. Suddenly, everyone from casual hobbyists to professional dealers was on the hunt. Imagine finding a penny on the floor and realizing it's worth more than a house. That's exactly what happened to one lucky collector who nearly threw his coin away, thinking it was ordinary, until he noticed something odd. The mint mark was missing. He had it appraised. Experts confirmed the strike was authentic. And within months, his life changed forever. And that's what makes this story powerful. Not because it's about a coin, but because it's about opportunity hiding in plain sight. Most people never look twice at their pennies. But wealth, real, life-changing wealth, often hides in the details everyone else ignores. Now, before you run to your coin jar, there's something you must understand. Not every 1990 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. The devil is in the details, and in the die.so here's what you should look for. First, pick up a 1990 Lincoln Memorial penny. Flip it over. If there's no mint mark under the date, that's your first clue. But that alone isn't enough. Next, check the lettering, especially the words Liberty and In God We Trust. The genuine $1 million coins have crisp, deep strikes and slightly sharper details due to the unique die used. Look for any faint doubling on the date or letters. That's often a hallmark of the rare mint error. Then, check the condition. Grading is everything in numismatics. A coin that's scratched, bent, or corroded might be worth hundreds. But a pristine, uncirculated example? That's where the real money is. And here's a pro tip. If your coin looks suspiciously perfect, don't clean it. Ever. Cleaning can destroy its collector value instantly. Let a professional grader handle it. And no, before you ask, running your pennies through the dishwasher does not count as professional cleaning. In fact, that's a one-way ticket to turning your potential fortune into pocket change. Pause. Alright, now that we've reset your focus, let's talk about what this really means for you. You see, the 1990 no mint mark penny isn't just a coin story. It's a reminder that sometimes, wealth is already in your hands. You just haven't recognized it yet. People across the country are turning their everyday coins into serious cash. And the market for rare Lincoln cents is exploding. Collectors are paying top dollar, and the demand is only increasing. Auction houses report record-breaking bids every year. And the question isn't if these coins will rise in value. It's when and by how much. So while most people scroll through social media or let inflation eat away at their savings, Smart collectors are quietly building wealth from coins they found in circulation. Now, here's where it gets truly thrilling. The 1990 mint mark Lincoln cent, in pristine, uncirculated condition, has a verified market value of $990,000. That's nearly $1 million. From a single penny. And here's the kicker. There are still unverified examples believed to be in private hands, hidden in plain sight. Experts estimate that fewer than 20 authentic specimens exist, but no one knows for sure. Every new discovery shakes the numismatic world, which leads to a haunting question. What if you have one? Think about it. How many 1990 pennies have you handled in your lifetime? Hundreds? Maybe thousands? What if one of them, the one you dropped in your car's cup holder or tossed in a donation jar, was the key to financial freedom? So here's what you should do. After this video, grab a magnifying glass, a good light, and your coin jar. Start looking through every 1990 penny you can find. If you spot one without a mint mark, set it aside carefully. Have it authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. And if it's genuine, congratulations, you're holding a piece of American history worth more than most cars. Maybe even more than your home.vo. And if you don't find one today, don't be discouraged, because searching for these coins is more than a hobby. It's a mindset. It's about learning to see value where others see nothing, to recognize potential hiding in the ordinary, to believe that even something as small as a penny can change everything. Pause. You never know. The next time you hear that tiny metallic clink of a penny hitting the floor, it might just be the sound of opportunity calling your name. The world is full of hidden fortunes waiting to be discovered. And sometimes, they're right in the palm of your hand, so look closely, check carefully. And who knows? Maybe you will be the next person to turn a 1990 Lincoln penny into nearly $1 million. Because in the world of coins, legends aren't just found. They're discovered. Subscribe, stay curious, and keep searching. Your story of hidden wealth may begin with just 1 cent. Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer. Maybe an old coffee tin filled with coins from years ago. Pennies, nickels, dimes. And then there it is. A 1991 Lincoln penny with a small D mint mark just below the date. You almost toss it aside. Until you hear this. That little coin, that ordinary-looking piece of copper, could be worth nearly $991,000 today. Yes, you heard that right. A 1-cent coin, worth nearly $1 million. Makes you wonder if you should have checked your couch cushions a little more carefully, doesn't it? This is the incredible story of how a humble penny became a gateway to generational wealth. A story that reminds us that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. So, before you spend that 1991 penny, stop. Because by the end of this video, you'll know why it could change your life forever. Let's begin. To understand how this unassuming coin reached such astronomical value, we need to go back to 1991, a year when gas was cheap, the Gulf War was unfolding, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was striking billions of Lincoln cents. Almost all worth just 1 cent, but among those billions, something went wrong. A small batch of coins left the mint with rare die errors. Imperfections so subtle, most people never noticed them. Slight doubling in the date. Microscopic shifts in the lettering. Variations in the metal composition that gave the coin a unique sheen and tone. These were minting accidents, but they turned ordinary copper-plated zinc into numismatic gold. And here's where things get thrilling. Coin collectors, treasure hunters, and even major auction houses started fighting for the rarest specimens. 1 pristine 1991 D penny, verified by top grading companies like PCGS, shocked the world when it sold for $991,000 at a private auction. Why? Because it was flawless. Mint state perfection. A once-in-a-generation find. But what made that single coin so rare? And how can you tell if the one in your possession is worth a fortune? Let's find out. Now here's the million-dollar question, literally. What separates a $991,000 penny from one worth, well, 1 cent? It comes down to 3 powerful words: condition, rarity, and error. First, condition. A coin's grade can make or break its value. Coins graded MS67 or higher, meaning mint state, are virtually flawless. No scratches, no fingerprints, no dullness. If your 1991 D penny looks untouched, with sharp edges and a blazing red finish, hold on to it. Second, rarity. Most 1991 D pennies are common, but a select few came from special die variations, giving them distinct features: double dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. These are the unicorns of the coin world. Third, error. Sometimes the mint machinery slips, a slightly misaligned strike. A planchet, that's the blank coin metal, pressed unevenly. These mistakes create one-of-a-kind coins that collectors will pay insane amounts for. You know what they say, one man's minting mistake is another man's early retirement plan. But here's what's fascinating: many of these valuable coins were circulated before anyone realized what they were. Meaning they could still be out there. In your piggy bank. In your old wallet. In your grandfather's cigar box. That's not just a fantasy. That's real.so. How do you spot one? Look closely at the D mint mark under the date. On some rare specimens, it's slightly repunched, appearing thicker or shadowed. Check for doubling on. Even a small doubling can be worth thousands. If the penny shines with a deep red tone and has no visible wear, that's a strong sign. And if you suspect you've got something rare, send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Because once that coin is certified, its value skyrockets. But here's the twist. There's a secret market that very few know about, where these rare coins quietly trade hands for life-changing sums. Let's step inside. Behind the polished glass of major auction houses, there's a silent race among wealthy collectors, all hunting for one thing: authentic rarity. When a verified 1991 D Lincoln penny enters the market, the bidding war begins. Collectors, investors, even museums compete for a piece of American minting history. One recent auction saw a bidding frenzy, the price climbing past $900,000 before the hammer finally dropped. And experts predict that as time passes and fewer flawless coins remain, these values could easily surpass $1 million. But here's what most people don't realize. Coins like the 1991 D penny aren't just about metal or mistakes. They're about stories. Every coin tells a tale of American craftsmanship, of chance, and of persistence. Of people who saw value where others saw nothing. And maybe, just maybe, this is your story waiting to be written. Think about it. A single coin could unlock financial freedom, pay off your home, or start a new chapter for your family. It's not just about luck. It's about awareness. About taking a moment to look closely, to notice what others overlook. Because who knows, the penny you dropped under your car seat might be worth more than the car itself. So, if you have a 1991 D Lincoln penny, don't spend it. Don't ignore it. Examine it. Research it. Get it graded. Because the difference between a penny and $1 million is just knowledge. And remember, wealth doesn't always come from where we expect it. Sometimes, it comes from the smallest, simplest things. Like a coin that's been sitting quietly in your change jar for 30 years. This is your moment to discover, to explore, to act. Because the next time you hold a penny in your hand, it might not just be 1 cent. It might be your $1 million story. If you enjoyed uncovering this hidden piece of American treasure history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because next, we'll reveal another coin that's turning everyday people into millionaires overnight. Drop a comment if you've ever found a strange or shiny 1991 penny. You might be sitting on gold and not even know it. And as always, keep searching, keep believing, and keep investing in your knowledge. Because the next coin you find could change everything. Imagine this. You're holding a single penny, dull, brown, and nearly forgotten. It's the kind of coin you'd leave at the bottom of a coffee cup tray or drop between your car seats without a second thought. Now imagine discovering that this same penny, a 2000 Lincoln Memorial cent with no mint mark, could be worth up to $200,000, and that people across the country are waking up to find tiny fortunes hidden in their pocket change. Crazy, right? But it's true. Welcome to the world of rare coin collecting, where ordinary-looking pennies can transform into life-changing treasures. Today, we're uncovering the shocking story of the 2000 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, how it became one of the most surprising modern coin discoveries, and why you might already have one worth hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting quietly in a jar somewhere in your home. So stay with me, because before you toss your next penny into the tip jar, you need to hear this entire story down to the last second. Now let's rewind for a moment. The year is 2000. The new millennium has just begun. The world's eyes are on the future, Y2K fears are fading, technology is exploding, and in the middle of all this change, the United States Mint quietly strikes billions of Lincoln cents. Billions of them. At first glance, they look identical, each one showing Abraham Lincoln's solemn profile on the front and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back. But among these billions, a few have something different. Something off. And that tiny difference could make all the difference. Let's start with what no mint mark really means. Normally, pennies are made in different U.S. mints, Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. You can usually see a tiny D, S, or sometimes no letter at all under the date. When there's no mint mark, it usually means the coin was struck in Philadelphia. So what's special about that? Well, not much until you start looking closer. Because some 2000 pennies struck without a mint mark weren't just ordinary. They were struck using misaligned dies, double strikes, or transitional planchets. Rare minting errors that can send collectors into a frenzy. One such penny, verified by top coin grading services, sold for nearly $200,000. And here's the kicker, it didn't even look perfect. It had a faint doubling on Lincoln's eyes and the word liberty, with subtle distortions that most people would never notice, but collectors did, and when word spread, this small copper-plated treasure became a legend. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wait, are you telling me I might have thrown away a small fortune every time I used a penny to scratch off a lottery ticket? Yes, possibly. And if that doesn't make you want to check every jar in your kitchen, I don't know what will do. So how do you know if your 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth thousands, or just 1 cent? Check for doubling. Look carefully at the inscriptions, especially Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear shadowed or doubled, you might be looking at a rare double die penny. Inspect the surface. Some rare versions were struck on transitional planchets, meaning they were made from the wrong metal. These can look slightly lighter, have a smoother tone, or sound different when dropped. Look at Lincoln's eyes. Slight misalignments or doubling around his eyes and nose area can be a giveaway. Get it graded. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can confirm if your coin is one of these rare treasures. And that's where the real magic happens. Because a simple penny can jump from pocket change to $200,000 market value the moment it's authenticated and preserved. Now let's pause for a second. Think about what that really means. A penny, something we ignore every single day, could hold more value than most people's cars. It's proof that wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice it. And maybe, just maybe, that person is you. Here's the most important part. Timing. Collectors are currently paying record-breaking prices for coins like this one. The rare coin market has exploded over the past few years as more people search for tangible assets, alternative investments, and pieces of American history. So while you're watching this video, someone else might be listing a 2000 no mint mark penny on auction right now and walking away with enough to buy a new house or pay off their mortgage. The question is, are you going to check your pennies before the next big sale happens? Because once these coins are found, their numbers go down and rarity drives value up even higher. Every day you wait, another collector gets richer. And hey, maybe next time your cashier hands you change and you get annoyed, just smile, because that little copper coin could be your golden ticket. You might just want to say, keep the dollar. I'll take the penny. When Abraham Lincoln was chosen to appear on the 1-cent coin in 1909, it wasn't just about honoring a president. It was about symbolizing perseverance, the idea that greatness can come from humble beginnings. And that's exactly what this coin represents today. An ordinary penny, struck in a new millennium, quietly defying expectations and reminding us that value isn't always obvious. So before you dismiss that jar of loose change sitting in your kitchen, take a second look. Examine every 2000 Lincoln penny you find. Look for that subtle doubling, that faint imperfection, that quiet clue. Because you might not just be holding a coin. You might be holding a story worth $200,000. The world is full of overlooked treasures. Sometimes they come disguised as struggle. Sometimes they come disguised as rusted copper. But they're out there, waiting for those who pay attention. So here's your challenge. Tonight, grab your coin jar. Turn on a lamp. Start searching. Because the next millionaire in the rare coin world could be sitting right where you are, listening to this story, holding a penny that everyone else ignored. Don't let your treasure slip through your fingers. This is your moment, your chance, your story. And it all begins with a single penny. What if I told you That a single penny sitting in your kitchen drawer right now, a simple 2001 Lincoln Memorial cent with no mint mark, could be worth over $200,000? Yes, you heard that right. $201,000 for a coin you might have walked past 100 times without even noticing. Pause for effect. Now, before you rush to your coin jar or start tearing through your wallet, let me ask you this. How many fortunes in history have been lost because people didn't recognize what was right in front of them? This story is about one such coin, a coin that looks ordinary, feels ordinary, yet holds the power to change someone's life completely. Welcome to the mystery of the 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a modern treasure hiding in plain sight. You see, most people assume that only ancient or silver coins are valuable. They think the newer the penny, the less it's worth. But that's exactly where the treasure hides. Because sometimes, value doesn't come from a G.it, comes from error, from rarity, from the tiny details that the naked eye almost misses, and the untrained mind completely ignores. Let's rewind to the year 2001. The US Mint was producing billions of Lincoln Memorial cents, all copper-plated zinc coins, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Yet, among the billions, a handful of coins came out different. Coins missing the mint mark that should have identified their origin. They were minted without the telltale D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Just a clean, blank space beneath Lincoln's date. Nothing more, nothing less. And that missing mark, that tiny, almost invisible absence, turned this ordinary cent into a six-figure phenomenon. But here's where things get wild. Not every no-mint mark penny is valuable. So what makes this one worth up to $201,000? The answer lies in perfection and imperfection. Collectors are obsessed with mint state coins, those untouched by circulation, unblemished, crisp as the day they were struck. Now imagine that level of perfection, combined with a mysterious minting error that's lightning in a bottle. One such coin was recently graded as MS68, an almost flawless condition. Auction houses went berserk. Bidders from around the world fought tooth and nail to claim it, and the hammer finally dropped at $201,000. Pause for impact. Yes, a single penny, a 1-cent coin, sold for $201,000. That makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many of these treasures are still out there, waiting for someone like you to find them? You might be thinking, wait a second, I've got a whole coffee jar full of 2001 pennies. Does that mean I'm rich? Well, possibly. But before you start planning your retirement or buying that dream beach house, let's look closer. Because the truth is, not all pennies are created equal. Some are just pennies, and a very few, are golden tickets. To spot a valuable one, you need to look for 3 crucial signs. No mint mark under the date, that's the first giveaway. If it's missing, you might be holding something special. Condition. The coin must be nearly perfect. No scratches, dents, or discoloration. Collectors call this mint state, and it's the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth a luxury car. The shimmer, a 2001 penny in top grade, reflects light differently. A subtle, mirror-like brilliance that comes only from untouched surfaces. Now here's a question for you. When was the last time you looked closely enough to notice any of that? That's the quiet lesson behind this coin. Most people don't see value because they never stop to look. Imagine this, you're sitting at your kitchen table sorting through old coins. You pick up a dusty penny, a 2001 no mint mark, and for a moment you hesitate. You remember this video, you take a magnifying glass, look closer, and there it is. Perfection, your heart races, you feel that spark, excitement, disbelief, possibility. Could this be the one? That's not just a fantasy. It's happened to ordinary people just like you. They found something extraordinary hiding in their spare change. And it changed their lives forever. Pause. But the truth is, treasures don't wait forever. Every day, coins like this vanish, scratched, damaged, or spent away without a second thought. Every time that happens, a small fortune disappears. That's the urgency, that's the wake-up call. So, what can you do? First, check your coins, the ones in the drawers, jars, and pockets. Second, protect what you find. Place rare-looking coins in holders or sleeves. And third, get them appraised. A local coin dealer or grading service like PCGS can confirm their authenticity and value. You might just discover that what you thought was worth a penny is actually worth more than your car, your vacation fund, maybe even your home. Crazy, isn't it? We spend years chasing wealth, side hustles, stock tips, lottery dreams, and all along, the universe might have slipped it into our pockets for a cent. Tell me, how poetic is that? The 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. And if you're willing to listen, if you're willing to look closer, you might uncover a piece of history and a path to freedom hidden in the palm of your hand. So tonight, when you get home, don't ignore that jar of change. Pick it up, pour it out, and search like your future depends on it, because maybe, just maybe, it does. This isn't about luck. It's about awareness, patience, and the courage to believe that extraordinary things hide inside ordinary moments. That's the secret of the 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. And who knows? The next fortune might already be sitting right in front of you. And if you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about hidden treasures, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because the next video might reveal the coin that changes your life. That tiny, copper-colored coin you've ignored for years, sitting quietly in your pocket, on your dresser, or inside that old coffee jar, could actually be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now imagine this. A single 2006 Lincoln Memorial penny, just 1 cent in face value, recently sold for a staggering $206,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, a penny worth more than a Lamborghini. But here's the real question. How do you know if you have one? And even more importantly, why are collectors paying small fortunes for something most people toss aside without a second thought? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot this rare gem, and how an everyday coin from your change jar could turn into the key to financial freedom. Let's uncover the truth about the 2006 Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin that's rewriting what pocket change really means. To understand why this ordinary-looking penny is worth more than most people's yearly salary, we need to go back not far, just to 2006, the final years of the Lincoln Memorial design before it was replaced by the Lincoln Bicentennial series. Now, the Denver Mint, known for its D mint mark, produced over 4 billion Lincoln pennies that year. So you might think, if there are billions, how could one be worth a fortune? Here's the twist. Among those billions of coins, a tiny number came out with minting errors so rare they turned into collector's gold. These mistakes, double dies, off-center strikes, or missing design details, are the tiny imperfections that transform a common coin into a six-figure masterpiece. It's like the universe slipping a golden ticket into the hands of anyone who dares to look closely. But that's not the only reason. The 2006 Lincoln penny marks the end of an era. It's one of the last years before the mint shifted its focus to redesigns and commemorative issues. Collectors crave these transitional pieces, especially those that capture the final chapters of a historic design. And here's where it gets thrilling. In 2024, a verified 2006 Lincoln penny with a rare die crack, a line that split through Lincoln's chest like a scar of history, was auctioned off for $206,000. The buyer? A private collector who wanted to own what he called a mistake that made history. Think about that for a second. A coin you could find in your car's cup holder sold for more than a high-end sports car. Makes you want to check your pockets right now, doesn't it? Go ahead, I'll wait. Seriously though, if you just checked your wallet, you're not alone. Thousands of people across America are doing exactly the same thing. Because deep down, we all share one dream. The idea that maybe, just maybe, our luck could change overnight. And sometimes, it actually does. One man from Kansas found his 2006 penny while cleaning out his old desk drawer. He almost spent it on a soda before noticing something unusual. Lincoln's coat seemed slightly distorted, and the letters looked thicker than usual. He sent it for grading, and a few months later, he got a call from Heritage Auctions. They told him his coin was worth over $100,000. Imagine that feeling. One phone call, and your life changes. Now, here's where the story becomes about you. Because right now, there are still unverified 2006 Lincoln pennies circulating in the U.S. economy. That means someone, somewhere, maybe even you, could be holding one of the rarest coins of this generation. But time is running out. Collectors are racing to buy up and grade every high-quality example left. Each month, the available supply drops, and the market value climbs higher. This isn't just about coins. It's about recognition. It's about being one of the few people who looked closer who cared enough to see what others ignored. And the reward for that attention: financial freedom. Because while others dismiss pennies as pocket clutter, the wealthy see opportunity where no one else bothers to look. That's how wealth works. It hides in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary. So how do you check if your 2006 D penny is valuable? It should be a clear D under the year 2006. Next, inspect Lincoln's coat and the memorial building on the back. Look for die cracks, doubling on the letters Liberty or In God We Trust, or even slightly off-center strikes. If you suspect something unusual, don't polish or clean the coin. That could destroy its value. Instead, contact a certified grading service like PCGS or NGC. Some experts believe that an even rarer version of the 2006 D penny, one with a unique die rotation and doubled lettering, has yet to be discovered in public hands. And when it does surface, it could easily break the $1 million mark. Could that coin be in your house right now? That's the mystery driving collector's wild SO. Here's your wake-up call. That jar of pennies sitting in your kitchen isn't just clutter. It's a time capsule, filled with forgotten history and potential fortune. Take the time to look, research, learn. Because the only difference between someone who finds a $206,000 penny and someone who doesn't is curiosity. And maybe destiny. Because wealth doesn't just belong to the FEW. It belongs to those who dare to see what others overlook. So before you spend another penny, ask yourself, what if this one could change everything? Don't just dream of wealth. Discover it. Because sometimes, the road to fortune starts with a single cent.